Elizabeth of East Hampton by Audrey Bezella and Emily Harding is the second in a series that I read out of order. I just covered Emma of 83rd Street, and I found that book because I read this book first. It doesn't count towards my yard of books because I read this over the summer and then bought the other one and then pre-ordered Anne of Avenue A, which is coming up, but I wanted to cover this book really quick because this was actually my favorite of the series. It has Elizabeth Bennet as a surfer girl, which just makes me happy. But my favorite part about this book was the reimagination of the Bennet family's economic situation. One of the things that I find a lot is that people don't really understand why the Bennets are in a bad situation in Pride and Prejudice. And I think this book did a very good job of reimagining it so that people understand. And in this book, they own their house in East Hampton, but it's not big enough, and they don't have the money to buy a new one because the town is now a vacation town. Yeah, Grandma and Grandpa bought the house. Yes, the house is paid off. And yes, they're economically doing okay, but okay isn't cutting it where they now live, which is a situation so many Americans find themselves in if their town or the town that their family has lived in for many generations has blown up around them. Or even if the place that mom and dad bought their house back in the 80s is no longer feasible for them to continue living for tax purposes or for so many other reasons. So I found this book really well written, and I found it highly relatable, especially if you couldn't relate to the original versions because, Jane Austen's books were written over 200 years ago, and there's some disconnect nowadays. That being said, if you are reading the older books and you don't understand what's going on, I do recommend, looking for resources like Jane Austen for Dummies. Ellie Dashwood's a creator here on YouTube who does a great job of explaining different things. That being said, this book was great. Read it, don't read it. I would say that in this case, read it, but please read something.